Hello, welcome to our Crisp DM showcase. This is for CIT 348. Our group is Braden Smallwood and Matthew Sprinkle. What is Crisp DM? Crisp DM is the cross-industry standard process for data mining. Basically, that is, as decided by the business and research world, the best method for doing data analysis and data mining. So the actual Crisp DM process is these 6 steps. They go in order, and they can keep going for as long as you want to continue doing data mining. Why is Crisp DM important? This is important because a lot of data is collected and it doesn't automatically have useful information in it. It doesn't automatically have a use, and through this process we can clean up the data and we can use it to answer questions and make better decisions, more informed decisions. It's also used by everyone in the business world and research. The first step of the Crisp DM method is business understanding. This is where we identify goals for the project, what the end result is, what we're trying to gain from it. This is important because different people, even within the same organization, can have different needs. So it's important to identify those so we know what we're looking for while we're looking through this data. The next step is data understanding. This part is where we think about what type of data we want to use, what type of data already exists, do we need to gather any data, what is this data supposed to represent. We need to look at our data and make sure that it makes sense just from looking at it, that it is good data, it doesn't have errors if it needs to be cleaned up or moved. At this point we're also putting it into our software that we're going to use for modeling later. The next step of the process is data preparation. This is where we have all of our data and it is being cleaned multiple times, getting rid of all of the parts that are bad from it, adding new things to it to make it more useful. If there were attributes that did not exist that when added would make it more helpful or more readable. This is also when you might be reformatting data to something different so that it looks different. You also might be merging data or separating out, getting rid of stuff that you don't need or doesn't make sense to have. Next step is modeling. So we've taken all of the data that we've decided that we want, and at this point we are putting it into models that we can interact with and look at and get more information from. This might be some type of graph or some type of graph. I'm not exactly sure what type of model we would use. You could use any type of model you wanted. But you might use like a line graph as opposed to a pie graph or something. Very basic example. Next step is evaluation. We look at our model and we see if it is relevant to our questions that we wanted answered and the things we needed help with. At this point, we can also go back and redo our model. We can get different data. This is also where we are going through and we are this is near the end of our process and we're about to make a decision based off of this data model that we've gathered already. The last step, of the Crisp DM process is deployment. So we have our model, and we've used our model to make a decision for our business, maybe. And at this point, we are also trying to make a report that sort of explains everything that happened and summarizes and organizes all of your results so that someone who was not a part of your project can understand what happened. This is also where you review everything that happened, what can be improved for the future, if there was like different data we should use, if something went wrong, if we could fix that for next time. And there's also, if we remember, this process is ongoing, so we could just go back in and ask a new question and start over with the same data but look at it a different way, and just go through this whole process and do something again. That's what Crisp DM is all about. I think that's everything. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That was our presentation on Crisp DM.